everybody, and welcome back to This is Your Guide to Becoming a Successful UNISA Student on TGIFS. I actually got that right in one mouthful. Great. Okay, so this is episode 9. This is basically, it was going to be part 2 of assignments, but I got everything into one episode, which is super exciting. Anyway, so the next episode is episode 9, examinations. Okay, this is examinations part 1. Okay, so as the time gets closer, usually if you're doing semester 1, you'll write your exams in May or June. If you're doing semester 2, you write your exams in October or November. Okay? We good in that point? Right. As it gets closer to the time, as it was September, it's now October. So in September, I received my official examination timetable. When you register, you get a preliminary. There we go, got that word. That word's always a catching one. Preliminary timetable, which means it is subject to change. Things can change, but they don't usually. It's just as a precaution. It's not finalized. So, in October, I got my final examination timetable, which states which modules I have gained admission to the exams. This is when assignments come back in, so this is kind of part 2. For certain modules, they require you to submit a certain amount of assignments in order to gain admission to the examination. Usually it's your first assignment. Sometimes they want both to gain admission to the examination. Sometimes it's only one assignment, which is your first assignment. If you don't do your assignment, you don't hand it in, you'll not get admission to the examination for that subject. Okay? Easy as that. Crystal clear. So you'll get your examination timetable. It'll say which examination center you're registered for, your registered modules that you've gained admission to the examination, which modules you haven't gained admission to the examination, it'll state on there. It'll state which modules you're allowed to take a calculator with you to the exam. Yeah, I had a very interesting story. So for the one module we had to calculate, but the thing is it didn't have the little asterisks. It's usually a little star, a little asterisk that says you're allowed to bring calculators into the exam. So we had to do the whole calculation without a calculator, which wasn't really that bad. It was basically very simple. It wasn't like a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that type of big number. It's like 100.100, like 100, 200, 300. So you basically kind of like knew, okay? It was simple, okay? So once you've gotten your examination timetable, I suggest you look over it carefully, because at the back of that examination timetable is examination rules, which are very, very important. When you go to your examination, the examination timetable also have your dates and your times that you go writing. Some exams are in the morning from 8:30 to 10:30. That's 2-hour paper. I don't know any modules that have longer papers than that. If I find any, I'll let you guys know. But it's mainly 2 hours. Okay, so 8:30 to 10:30. Then from is it 11 to 1, I think. And then from 2:30 to 4, I think. Yeah, 2:30 to 4, because I know I've written in that time. I've written from 8:30 to 10:30. I think it's 11, 12, 1. Yeah, to 1. I think that's the times for the exam. I don't know, maybe they have a lunch break, the invigilators, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so I know that there's a 8:30 to 10, and there's a 2:30 to 4 exam. I'm not sure about the 11 to 1. So I know that there are those examinations. It'll state what time your examination is, whether it'll be 8:30 or 10. 8:30 or 2. Okay. In order to get into the examination center, you will need the following: your examination timetable, your ID or your driver's license. They need some form of identification along with your student card to make sure that it's actually you. Okay. Now, when you sit down for the examination, you'll go and sit at a desk, obviously, because you need some place to write. So they will go through the examination rules. Usually the examination venue opens a half an hour before you write. So if you're writing 8:30, it'll open 8 o'clock. If you're writing 2:30, it'll open at 2 o'clock. Okay. And they'll close the doors 15 minutes before we actually start writing. So then they'll go through all the examination rules, no cell phones, you know the gist of it. We had this in school, so it's not really a big deal. Then they'll hand out the paper. They'll give you no, let me start this. They'll hand out the paper. Then they'll say, at the back of the paper, there are two pieces of paper. They're on the same page. You need to fold them out, tear them out, tear both pieces of paper because it's like one on top of the other on the same page, because those are your attendance registers. Okay, they don't tell you this. UNISA doesn't tell you this at all. So I'm giving you guys something totally that I've experienced. You fill in those attendance registers, you sign it, you put them on your desk, and then you're allowed reading time. And again, then they'll tell you when to begin. While you're busy writing the paper, the invigilator comes around and checks your attendance registers, checks your ID, checks your student card, checks your timetable, everything. She will sign both copies. She will take one copy with her and give you one copy. That is basically to say that you were there, you wrote the exam. If anything has to happen or if there's any queries about it, you were there, you wrote it. Don't know how well you did yet, but you were there. Okay? That's the main thing, is to get your presence there, to make sure you can prove that in case if anything does arise later. So, after your exam, I must explain this to you. You are not allowed to leave 1 hour after the start time, and you're not allowed to leave 15 minutes before the end of your time, at the end of the time. So, if you're writing a 8 o'clock paper, you can only leave at 9 o'clock if you finish writing your paper, and you can leave from then until 10:15. After 10:15, you sit until they say pens down, hand in papers. Okay. So then after the exam, it's done. You just breathe, relax, and go to the next one. I know, especially when you've had a hard paper, you just feel stressed and uptight. But there's nothing really you can do. It's done. You just got to wait for the results. So yes, this has been the examination episode of sorry, I keep backtracking to TGIFS because I'm doing more extras than guide at the moment. I'm trying to catch up. So this has been your guide to become a successful UNISA student on TGIFS. Please like and subscribe to the video if you liked it. Share the love. Let everybody know about this guide because this guide is certainly useful. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye. See you in the next episode.